Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to the landing.
Nathan Everett grew up in a tobacco farming family in Pinetown, North Carolina. He started working on a crab boat when he was a young teenager. After finishing high school, he fished for crab in Albemarle Sound, found work drop netting in the ocean in the winter with Wanchese captains, and later brought his boat to Hatteras to crab and to gill net. This is an interview done with Nathan Everett by Susan West as part of the Hatteras Island collection. It was done on January of 2013. We hope you enjoy this oral history spotlight on Nathan Everett.
First of all, let me make sure I have your name spelled right. Nathan Everett?
Correct.
And do people call you Nathan or Nate?
It seems like since I moved over here, everybody started calling me Nate.
Because I called you Nathan, and Rob looked at me like, who are you talking about?
Right. They just assumed my name was Nate over here, so I just started going
but
by
on the other side, you're Nathan?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you? When is your birthday?
11/3/85. What does that make me? 28 or 27?
Okay.
28 this year.
And how long are you living here on Hatteras now?
Michael Peel rigged me up with this spot right here.
Okay.
That trailer over there is where I stay when I'm here.
Okay.
And the majority of the year, I do work out of Hatteras.
Okay. And how long have you been working out of Hatteras?
Let me see. It's only like 2 years, I believe. Let's see. This past summer, I did not crab. The summer before that, I got to put this together. I bounced around for so long. Built my boat in 09. That winter, I was going to oyster. That didn't work. Came over here. So like 2.5 years.
Okay.
3 years, something like that.
Where did you live before you came here?
Pinetown or Bath area. It's kind of in between a place called Everett's Crossroads. I came from a tobacco farming mechanic. My mom was a nurse background. Nobody in my family fished.
Okay.
It's kind of weird how I got into it.
Everett's Crossroads?
Mm-hmm.
Is that named for your family?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So your family probably goes way back.
In that area, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Did you go to school over there?
Mm-hmm. Northside High School.
And how far along in high school graduation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you start fishing over there?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you did.
Let's see. How did that go? I was about 12, I think it was, and we all used to go in the summertime to my grandmama's house to eat lunch and stuff. Well, my cousins, they primed tobacco. One of them was 2 years older than me. And when they came in, they always looked nasty and dirty, and sometimes they'd be throwing up from that priming tobacco, you know.
What does priming tobacco mean?
Suckering tobacco. You ever heard of it?
No.
Well, anyway, that was a job for young people, teenagers in the summertime. A lot of times. Well, it didn't look very appealing to me because they come in all dirty and sweaty and nasty and sick sometimes because of the stuff in tobacco. Anyway, it didn't look good to me, so I actually went to Bible school at church that week, and I got to thinking about what I was going to do for a summertime job, and one of my buddies there who used to pull crab pots with somebody down the road, just a mate during the summertime, said he was going to Indiana, and I thought to myself,
Okay.
That sounds a whole lot better than sucking tobacco.
Okay.
And so I jumped on that real quick, asked my mom to take me over to the guy's house that he worked for, and that's where it all started. I worked for 2 years.
And what water body were you
in
working?
the Pamlico River.
Pamlico River.
That's where I started, in the Pamlico Sound.
Okay. So you did that for about 2 years?
And then I got my own boat. My dad helped me fix up a boat that he had in the backyard.
Okay, so now we're talking about you're maybe 14 or 15 and you have your own boat?
15, yeah.
Wow. What kind of boat was that?
This was just an old 17-foot cobia.
Okay.
With a 60-horse Evinrude on it.
Okay. And what did you do with the boat?
I crab potted.
Do you remember how many crab pots you started?
I started with 150 pots.
Wow.
And I bought them from Mr. E.T. in Bellhaven.
Okay.
Was
he a crab pot supplier?
Crab pot, I'm trying to think of crab pot and eel supply.
Okay.
From E.T.'s Crab Pots. I want to say his last name is Sawyer, but I can't remember. But he's since retired in the last couple years now. But that's where everybody bought their crab pots, close to home. And let's see. After school, I would crab during the summer, and then after school into the fall, I kept it up until I don't know, until whenever I started playing sports in the fall.
Okay.
And then I would have to take my crab pots up. My mom and dad were very supportive of me as far as that was concerned. They, would make sure I always got a ride to my boat after school, or if, whatever it took, they would make sure I got there, because obviously I didn't have a driver's license.
Right.
And
backing up a little bit, when you were 12 and you were pulling crab pots,
I was working with somebody.
Yeah, and you got paid for that?
Mm-hmm. $75 a day.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. And was that the very first job you ever had that you got paid?
Mm-hmm.
Felt pretty good too.
That was pretty good money, I thought.
Yeah.
And I was as green as they come. I give props to the guy that let me stick it out. As a matter of fact, I wound up, because I was the jellyfish were horrible that first year over in the Pamlico River and over around Englehart. And I just wasn't sure. I thought I had bit off more than I could chew, really. And the fact that he let me keep on and never didn't fire me. And, he trained me. He stuck with me. Probably because one of the hardest things is to find people that'll show up. But I may not have been the best when I first started, but I was there. My mom made sure that I got to my job.
And the guy you were working for, do you remember, how old he was or anything? I mean, to have that much patience with a greenhorn, he must have been...
Like I say, he was probably just glad that he could rely on somebody to show up.
Exactly.
He was about 28 at that time, 30 maybe. 28, I think. Okay,
so you have your own boat, and you have your crab pots, and you're in school. You crab all the way through school?
One way or another, whether I worked on my boat or whether I jumped on somebody else's boat. During the summers, whatever made more sense at the time.
Okay.
Because I played a lot of sports. It was actually easier my junior and senior year in high school to work with someone else, because I could kind of drop it and go, when I had ball games and stuff like that, it was it was easier to do. Then when I graduated, I moved to Greenville.
Okay.
Considered going to school and was looking for a part-time job while I was going to go to Pitt Community College. And never had any luck with part-time work. But I was able to get a full-time job right off the bat at Grady White Boats, building boats.
Oh, okay.
I had gone there and applied for a part-time position, and they hired me. I worked there for 2.5 years. And maintained my commercial fishing license throughout the whole time, and did some pickup work on, some part-time fishing on vacations and holidays and weekends. But I was never really happy over there. I always was wanting to come back home and be near the water. And
what exactly was your job? Was it in the manufacture, standing or?
No. It was assembly and what do you call it? Where you kind of brainstorm. I wasn't an engineer, but they pulled some of us off the line to brainstorm.
Okay.
Help them with design.
Okay.
I don't know how do you call that, but they would definitely take certain ones of our opinions that had been on boats into consideration when they were building certain parts.
Would it be fair to say that being confined to a facility wasn't your cup of tea?
Was not.
Okay.
Being treated as a number, not. I don't want to say that I was against authority, but I was more driven when I worked by myself. It seemed like a chore to show up on time, whereas when I worked for myself on the boat, I couldn't wait to get up. I had a hard time going to bed because I couldn't wait to get up and go do what I wanted to do the next day.
Okay, so you're at Grady White and
I got a call one day from the guy who had given me my first job, and he was still crabbing, and he was crabbing out of Mackey's in Albemarle Sound, up in
Mackey's Ferry?
Mackey's Ferry,
okay.
Over that way. It's in Roper, I think, is actually Plymouth, Roper. The actual town there is called Mackey's, but there's a restaurant there now. It used to be where the gun shop is, or it used to be where the gun shop was. Then that guy sold it to this guy that owns it now, who bought a boat.
Okay.
Named it the Big Mac.
Okay.
And needed somebody to run it for him. And the guy that I had first got a job with was crabbing out of that marina at the time, and found out about it and told the owner of the property and the restaurant and the boat that, hey, I know somebody who might be interested in this. He's not real fond of what he's doing right now. And I got a call from Henry Yates, who owned the marina, and asked me what I thought about coming and running his boat for him. So I quit. Actually, it worked out perfect because that very next day they offered voluntary layoffs. The boat, the boat building industry was just going down at that time.
Because we're talking about
starting the recession, and commercial fishing was looking just about as good as trying to hold a job.
Yeah, people weren't, buying recreational fishing boats.
He called me. They just happened to. I was wondering how I was going to put my 2-week notice in and all this, and it wasn't a problem. The next day they had a meeting, and it was like, does anybody want a voluntary layoff? My hand shot straight up, and I was gone the next day, and we were ordering crab pots and jumped on that boat and started rigging it out.
And tell me a little bit about the Big Mac. What kind of boat was that?
It was a 36-foot Gloucester. Had a 375 John Deere in it. Straight drive, or wheel and a shaft, whatever you want to call it.
And you fished crab pots out of it.
I fished crab pots. And that was a learning experience for me at that time. It was big step from what I used to do. Because I was used to running outboards, and that was a big boat to me, and a lot of responsibility all of a sudden, where I had been working for myself small time and then working for somebody else, and the responsibility really wasn't all that much, and then always wanting to be fishing, and then getting put into that situation going from 400 to 500 pots, where I had graduated from 150 to like 400 to 800 or 1,000 is what I was running off of that boat.
Ooh, wow.
And a much bigger boat, and it was just a lot. I learned a lot during that time of how to run the business, how the money worked, how expensive it actually was to run a commercial fishing business of that size. And actually, when it came time for me to take crab pots up the end of that year, that next fall, I was kind of like, what do I do? Because I had never had to worry about fishing in the wintertime.
Right.
I had always crabbed and then gone to school.
Right.
Yeah. So it was never. I was kind of baffled, like, oh goodness, what have I done? I don't really know what to do. What am I going to tell this man? I don't know. I don't feel comfortable taking this boat in the ocean right now. Well, I went to Wanchese, and the first drop net boat I ever got on was the Handful with Tommy Dancheese. It's kind of ironic where I wound up staying in Hatteras, if you think about where Tommy used to live.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But
everything's connected. Okay.
That was my first experience drop netting in the ocean, was with Tommy Dancheese in the fall.
So you went there
to learn. I thought I was going to go get an idea and then go get the boat and go back, but then I realized when I did it with Tommy that there was way too much going on. And that I had a lot more to learn. So I wound up going back and asking Catfish. You've heard of Catfish? Catfish Bass, Richard E. Bass. Everybody knows him as Catfish.
No.
He lives back around Roper.
Okay.
And he's an older man, but he's fished his whole life. I said, Catfish, do you want to run this boat and let me mate through the winter? Well, I kind of gave my job away when I wound up doing that, because Catfish knew a little bit about all of it already, and it worked out for the best. I got off of that boat. Catfish started running it. I got a job for the winter in Wanchese. The guy who got me the job running the Big Mac, that also gave me a job, he let me run his boat the next year when he bought a bigger one. So I went back to running the boat that I originally first worked on when I was 12.
I got you.
We had an amazing year crabbing in the Albemarle Sound.
Okay.
And that winter, back to the same problem again. When crabbing was over, I was kind of like thinking when he bought that bigger boat that I would put the crab boat up and get on the big boat with him. We didn't get that communication right. He wanted me to take that boat and go oystering, and oystering just wasn't enough for me. So I went back to Wanchese, got on a boat with Charlie Locke on the Salvation. That's a 32-foot bow picker. And there was where I learned a whole pile of what I know about. Between him and what I had done with Tommy Dancheese, what I learned about fishing in the ocean.
And what kind of fishing were you doing with?
When I first got on with Charlie, we came to Hatteras. I met him in Wanchese. His mate trained me for 2 weeks. I was able to stay with him in Manio. It was perfect. He rented his room out to me right there in Manio. So I met Charlie Locke at the intersection in Wanchese, and that man worked every day. It seemed like for the time that I was with him, and we drove to Hatteras every morning. And that's where we fished that winter. And the sea mullet fishing that year was excellent.
Okay.
I think the first day I went with him, we picked 25 boxes of sea mullets or something like that. 2,500 pounds. That's a lot of sea mullets.
That is.
And needless to say, I was digging it. I mean, I was down with that kind of money. It was good money. And from there, we fished right on through January, and the sea mullet thing kind of played out. And Charlie was originally from Florida and had moved to Wanchese. Well, he had never done the Spanish mackerel drop net in Florida.
Okay.
But they used the same gear. And his parents lived down there. And we could also hook and line kings down there at that time, around March.
Oh, okay.
So things were drying up around here. Wasn't a whole lot. The boat he had wasn't big enough to go croaker fishing. So we hauled everything we needed down to Florida. There. And I worked...
what part of Florida?
His parents are out of South Daytona, and that's where we had intended on going king mackerel fishing. But when we got there, the Spanish mackerel fishing in Cape Canaveral was a better option.
Okay.
So our second option wound up being our first option.
Okay.
And that's what we wound up doing. And the first day I went down there with him, this is a funny story I gotta tell you. Like I said, he had never fished out of Cape Canaveral. That's where the space station is, where the great big carnival boats, all these nice inlets that got water, stress-free. This is a whole different ball game than what we're used to up here. Just getting out the inlet's seems like a whole day's work. But on our way down there, Charlie, I'm just always used to him just knowing everything. Well, we stopped at this West Marine, and he looking through this hot spots chart that shows you hot spots. He's like, Nathan, come look at this. This where I heard something about it. He said, I think that's where we're going to try in the morning. I said, you mean we come all the way down here to Florida and you're going to use a hot spots chart to tell me where we're going to go fishing? He said, that's what it says. There's a shoal. It's outside 3 miles because down there you got to fish in federal waters. And I said, all right, man, whatever, here we go. We set out first thing in the morning. We were there hours before that crowd. They don't get started like we do down here. It's just a different kind of crowd. And 4,000 pounds of Spanish is what we wound up with that first day down there. And I was hooked. I mean, it was just amazing. Charlie Locke was a great fisherman. Learned a lot from him. We fished out a month or so there. We came back home. We started fishing for sea mullets on the beach, and I was making some money with him. Man, really, really improved my work ethic. I thought I had a good one until I was with him, and then I learned a lot from him. And I realized all of a sudden, that, hey, this is what I want to do for a living, no doubt. And instead of worrying about, am I going to have a job season to season, I'm ready to make this decision, and I went ahead and built a boat.
Oh, you built a boat?
Yep.
You didn't buy? Okay.
We went, me and my mom. My dad, he worked shift work his whole life. I made my decision on what size boat I wanted, due to all kinds of factors. And we went to Tillman Island, Maryland, and bought...
I know where that is.
Bought a 32-foot Kinnaman boat, hull, just the hull. I had bought a trailer and took it up there, and we brought it back. And me and my dad came up with the dimensions and the design. We drew it all out and took it to Privateer Boats. And I helped Terry Radcliffe at Privateer Boats put it together. They taught me, and at first I was going to build it like the boat Charlie Locke has, which is a center console with a net reel in the bow.
Okay.
They talked me out of doing that.
Okay.
That changed everything. When I wound up putting a cabin on the front of that boat, I wound up raising the sides. It just changed the whole perspective of the boat. I could handle much more weather. And where I was thinking of doing a lot of crabbing and sea mullet fishing, which is what the main two things I had done the most of. When I put that cabin on the boat, it opened the door to all kinds of other fisheries for me. It changed my mind. I also noticed around that time, as I was finishing building the boat, that crab pot prices were going out the roof. I mean, they were just, they had gone from when I started at like $18 to now they're like $45 a piece. Wow. Completely rigged out. And it didn't take but 2 years of crabbing for me to realize that the expense of crabbing was just more than I really wanted to have to deal. It was just a lot of money, just a bunch of turnover. Wasn't much staying in my pocket.
Well, and your boat, does it look like other boats around here?
Yeah, but I put an inboard-outboard in it because I had intended on crabbing.
Okay. And
it would go in shallower water than a lot of these other boats.
Okay.
Which makes it unique. There's no other boat in Hatteras like that. And it took me a long time when I finally moved over here to Hatteras to figure out how to keep it running, because with a gas motor it's got a distributor, and over here in this salt water that's a big issue.
Oh, okay.
Because these diesel engines don't have distributors on them.
Right. Okay.
And I mean, I had the hardest time when I first got here keeping my boat running, but I finally figured out how to keep it dry and keep it.
Well, now what year are we talking about? This is like 2 years ago.
The boat was finished in 2009.
Okay.
I crabbed that summer into the fall and built an oyster dredge and tried my hand at oystering. It was a poor year for oystering. Price of oysters, I mean, they limit you. It was like you can only work 5 days a week, and you had to be done by 2:30. And for me, just getting started, I mean, it was taking me that long just to get a limit. If I was lucky, I didn't see me making any money doing that. So I acquired a net reel.
Okay.
From Tommy Dancheese. He gave it to me.
Okay.
And I came over here, had never been to Hatteras.
Okay.
On my own boat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Had never been across the sound by myself. And I left from Rose Bay, had taken my oyster dredge out, put that net reel in, and shot across the sound to come dogging.
Okay.
Went straight out the inlet, never even stopped to talk to any of the fish houses. Got a limit of dog sharks.
And then
came back into Hatteras. And the first fish house I came to was Teach's, was Wanchee's fish. I pulled in there and said, "David, you buy my fish?" He said, "Sure." So we went from there. I wound up bringing my crab pots over here that spring.
Okay.
And crabbed out of Hatteras. Had a real good year. Had two of my buddies come over here. I had bought this trailer from Irvin Midget with this reefer trailer. Had a Thermo King on the front of it. I was going to buy and sell my own crabs.
How did that work out?
It's very difficult. Transportation down here is, other than Wanchee's fish, is pretty hectic. It's not very convenient.
You mean just the distance?
Yeah, and
yeah.
I realized, it didn't take me long to realize why there wasn't much of a crab market down here. I couldn't believe it, because I just knew that, it was such a great year that year, and the guys around here just weren't paying anything for the crabs.
Right.
Well, I realized all of a sudden that there's a reason for that, and it's a headache for these guys to keep these crabs out of this real salt water down here, and then because you're looking at an extra day of shipping almost.
Yeah.
By the time they get all the way up north, so all that together, this trailer actually, it got used that year. We made some money. But I kind of backed out of that. I got into the drop netting thing. Okay. I wound up selling all my crab pots this past spring, and turned it all into gill nets. So now I've got enough gill nets to run this boat year round out of Hatteras, which is more convenient. Running out of Hatteras, there's stuff to do one side of the Sound or the other.
Right.
I mean, one side of the land, or you can go in the Sound, you can go in the ocean, and it kind of gives you, it's a unique place because the primary winds in the wintertime are out of the northwest, and you can fish in the lee of the hook in the wintertime. And in the summertime, you're looking at southwest winds, and you can fish on this in the Sound for Spanish mackerel in the Sound, and it's more consistent. You don't have to worry about, you know, whether or not you can go or not as much if you kind of use that rotation.
Okay.
Now, and I do still, like right now, my boat's in Wanchese, but it just so happens that the croakers didn't come down this year.
Okay. Besides not wanting to prime tobacco like your cousins and get dirty, what is it about commercial fishing?
It wasn't the dirty part, because fishing is not clean, but that's why I say
it's a different type of dirty. No.
It certainly is.
What is the appeal, the attraction to commercial fishing? Why do you like it?
I guess it's because it's 100% what you put in is what you get out of it. Anything you do is solely up to you. I mean, there's no way anybody can take away from what you're getting. You know, anything you make of yourself commercial fishing, you did it by yourself. I mean, nobody's handing you anything in this business. Could I have picked something easier on myself? Yes. But is it the only thing I've ever really known? Yes.
Okay.
If I had to do something else, I don't know what I'd do.
What would you say would be the biggest challenges besides getting beat up sometimes physically and not much sleep and hard work?
Definitely the regulations.
Does that bother you? Do you worry about, you know?
It is hard to plan, especially at this point where I'm at now, where I want to do a lot. I want to focus on gill netting, and I really would like a larger boat. The investment in that is definitely hinged on what do I see happening as far as
so that uncertainty makes you hesitate rather than
really
saying,
it seems like you got to do a lot of homework before you make a move in this business, because you just don't know what's going to be available due to the government.
I hear that all the time. You know, people are ready to step it up, but they hesitate and pull back because of that uncertainty.
It's a damn thing, because there's so many. Have you ever seen anything where there's so many eager people to work, but are so I don't want to say self-sufficient, but what we do, it seems to me like it doesn't do anything but benefit like the local economy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, how much money do we spend? You got to think. Why would the government be so harsh on us when we're adding to the local economies? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why I should have to wonder about making my business larger, investing more money when I have the urge, the drive to do it, and there are so many other people that are gaining from us. Fuel, bait, transportation. I mean, all these people are getting paid out of my paycheck. And it's almost like even one fishery, I had to quit it because the fuel man, the bait man, and freight man, it was like you had to work 3 days out of 6 to give him a. Yeah, one day for him, and one day for him. You know.
Yeah, so there wasn't much left over.
So and you would think that, and that's just what I'm calling local economy. I mean. Why would we ever get? Why do we have to get so much trouble from everybody when we're supporting that many people? I mean, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of fuel around here burnt in boats. You know that.
Well, are you proud of what you do?
Absolutely.
Do you think you bring in a good quality product?
Absolutely. I was lucky. The people that I worked for set really good examples as far as that was concerned.
Okay. Do you take pride in the fact that you essentially feed people? I mean, that's what happens.
That's exactly what's going on. I mean, it's pretty neat. I didn't think of it when I first started, but I've noticed through this economic up and down that, you know, commercial fishing definitely prospers when everything else is on the down. You know, it seems like we go up because people got to eat.
Yep. In commercial fishing, are there many other people your age involved in it?
I think it's a shame, especially when I came to Hatters. The amount of people my age that are not involved in it, and a lot of them's excuse was they were deterred from it, from the older ones, because
parents probably.
Because there are so many more stipulations on it now than there used to be, and I think it would have probably been the same for me. Had anyone known that.
Right.
But I kind of went into it blindly and just 100%, and I've tried not to let it bother me as much.
No, it's tough because the jobs that are available here are, well, if they're tied to the tourism, they're seasonal jobs.
Exactly.
They're usually low-paying jobs.
It's definitely not a career.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the difference right there. It isn't a career. You can't really see yourself advancing.
You're at the mercy of the tourists and other people and whoever's hired you. You know, you can make whatever you want to make of the fishing, minus what the regulations are.
Right. What do you think makes a successful fisherman? What kind of character?
You got to be present to win. That's what somebody told me. You've got to go. If you don't want to do it, you're probably it's hard to make yourself do this job. You know? You've got to be there. That's the number one thing. And then on top of that, the next thing I'd say would be your gear and being able to afford the gear that it takes to go do it. Those are the top two things. You got to be out there. You got to be willing to get up and go every time it's possible, and then having the gear
And that first one, that kind of is related to mental attitude and all. Or are there other, say, character traits, maybe your outlook on life that are good for a fisherman to have?
Absolutely. I mean, your work ethic, your morals and values come into play so much because fishing is so much it has so much to do with being a network of people. I mean, knowing what's going on up and down the East Coast, if you're an asshole, nobody wants to give you any information.
Exactly.
It's a give and take kind of thing, too. You learn how to deal with certain people. You definitely learn how to, your communication skills definitely played a big part, I think. And I've had to learn, about how to approach people and meet new people.
When you first came over here, what was the reaction? Were these old guys, "Hey, Nate, great," or were they like,
not all of them.
"What are you doing here, son?"
I got a bunch of strange looks. I got a bunch of strange looks right out of the gate, and there's still some of them that are kind of, they don't like seeing. There's a lot of older ones that are stuck in their ways. And they're downers. I mean, they're just they're fed up with they've seen it too good. They're spoiled.
Right.
So they don't want to go and do, and they kind of look. It's a shame, but some of them kind of. If you're not careful, they'll talk you out of going to work. But you got to keep that positive attitude and kind of remember the innovation and changing with the new trends and things. There's still, you got to keep up with that kind of. You can't get stuck in your old ways in this fish. If you do, it'll do just like the fish houses down here. It'll run down. You've got to learn how to cope with the new. Out with the old, in with the new, but then you've got to remember the old traditions and things too. You can't forget what those guys did to bring us to where we are now. There was a lot of trial and error done by some of these older guys.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Michael Peel has made this transition from over there to over here. He's made a lot of this possible for me. He opened the door for me that...
He's a very nice guy.
I mean, I am greatly appreciative of him.
No, I love Michael and I love
him and
Claudia.
Lyle. They were two that kind of noticed. I don't know what they noticed, but they noticed something, and all of a sudden I just kind of saw an open door, and I couldn't do anything wrong. I mean, he was like, whatever you want, you pretty much you go ahead and do it, and then he wound up with his son working with me here. He's real good help.
Good.
I mean, not his son, his nephew.
His nephew. Yeah, you have to...
you just can't forget about that. Although some of them get stuck in their ways and you start seeing their fishing kind of going downhill, you can't completely ignore what they have done in the past. But you've got to... You've got to learn how to keep going.
Isn't that true of any business?
Any business.
Yeah, you have to reevaluate your business plan and figure out, okay,
absolutely,
this is working well. Maybe this part isn't working too well. What do you see any critical needs for the future on fishing on Hatteras Island? I mean, I think we're kind of talking about one thing is the lack of younger people.
Well, that too.
Transportation, yeah.
Transportation is going to be one of the biggest issues, which is going to be the biggest issue for this island, period.
I mean, true.
Now, am I speaking for just Hatteras Island? I mean, I'm an outsider coming in here. I realize that. But just for Hatteras Island, transportation is going to be the biggest thing because freight's, going out the roof.
Okay, so for commercial fishing in general, what do you think are the critical needs or critical issues for the future? Regulations, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, they'll regulate us out of anything. If they can, it seems like. And I say they because it seems like there's more than one group that's against us. I mean, that's where I'm at right now. I'd love to get bigger and bigger. I'm not scared to go invest the money as to whether or not I can catch the fish or make it work. It's just the regulations that are slowing me down. You know, that's what's making me hesitant of growing bigger.
Do you think there's opportunities for some new markets or diversification in the industry? I mean, we have all
Absolutely.
this stuff.
Marketing is the biggest, would be one of the biggest issues. You take just the dog sharking, for instance, this year. If there was something that, if there was an avenue for these dog sharks, there's more than ample amount of them out there. If and the state is even recognizing it. They've increased our quota, but the market, where it can go, you know, how many people are really investigating what we could do with those things? I mean, it used to be.
Have you ever eaten dog shark? I never have.
No,
but
I'm not even sure what it is they do.
Very mild tasting fish.
The spiny dog is what I'm talking about, but I'm not sure exactly what they do. They process them up in Maine or somewhere.
New Bedford, Massachusetts.
That's exactly where they do it.
And then they go to England for fish and chips, and then some go to Germany, some kind of snack bar food, which I'm not really clear on what that is, but something.
But it's just one more thing that it's a natural resource that could be capitalized on, and any more investigation would help it as to where, you know, the stuff could go to where we could make more use of it, because they're actually a nuisance. You know, you could go into that side of it and all, but they eat a lot of small trout,
right?
Know, and they used to let us catch them. I'm sure you know about that. They hundreds and hundreds. I wasn't around, but I know what they used to let them do.
Yeah, it seems like there should be some kind of solution to at least get some kind of marketing where fishermen could catch this quota that is being increased by regulatory agencies. For sure.
But marketing in general would help. Definitely be a benefit.
Do you think you'll always be a fisherman? Is that your plan?
That's my plan.
Okay.
One way or another. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do to be a commercial fisherman. It's just a matter of keeping your eyes open for the new opportunities. And is it easy to get nestled in one spot and just do what's easy? Yes. I say easy. Just do what
you've been doing.
Yeah. But you definitely got to keep your eyes open. I would think the way the regulations are coming down on us, so you have more options. But then again, I was also told by a fisherman one time that options will starve a man to death in this business sometimes.
What did he mean?
You can't just quit looking for one fish to go do another one. You can't leave fish to find fish kind of thing. If you're trying to do too many things at one time, you got to kind of remember that fish come in seasons.
Okay.
And they'll be here sooner or later. You can't just up and quit. You do have to stay focused to a certain extent. Being scatterbrained all over the place, trying to do too many things at one time, you never really concentrate and get the big lick on the one fishery that you're actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I can understand that. To be kind of focused, but also have your antennae out for, okay, there might be opportunity there, I might want to shift over to that fishery, but
maybe not right this second.
Yeah, not make that decision too hastily.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the conkin is something that's coming back, it seems like, and they used to do it. Then the trawlers, there was a conflict. It seemed like the trawlers didn't want the pots out there in the ocean because They were in their way. They kind of made an example out of 2 or 3, and nobody was willing to mess with it anymore because they figured, well, they were going to get destroyed by them or something. But that's something that's coming back. That market, somebody's found a market for those conchs.
And do you think, all this emphasis that we hear about on local foods, does that help North Carolina fishermen? Or is it no help because...
Absolutely.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I think it is.
Okay.
Local is always going to be...
And...
I mean, I guess what you're asking is whether we would want people to buy our stuff or buy the stuff that can get raised in a pond. Yeah, I definitely want to buy our stuff.
And one last question. Maybe it's the last question. Are you married?
No.
Okay. Children?
No.
Girlfriend?
No.
Okay.
Came real close to all that.
Okay. Well,
probably the best thing that never happened to me.
Things happen,
Mm-hmm.
for a reason. Well, Nate, thank you. This is great.
All right.
Thank you again for joining us to The Landing. This podcast is brought to you by the Core Sound Waterfowl Museum and Heritage Center. Tune in next week as we continue learning, sharing, and remembering together. If you'd like to hear more, check out our previous episodes where you get your podcasts. If you or someone you know is interested in being on The Landing, please reach out through the link in the description. Until then, stay safe and be kind.